Hey everybody, it's AJ Puedan and welcome to Better, Faster, and Easier, where we make life better, faster, and easier. So today I have another one of my longtime friends, Nancy Matthews. Hey Nancy, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm awesome. Glad to be here today.
Today, if you're new to the show, kind of our format is that we ponder life together. We think about what other people are going through, and as leaders of creating change in the community, we just think about what are some cool ideas of what's happening. So I met Nancy. When was that? About
2002 is when you and I first met.
So 10 years.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when I really first was starting I went into business for myself in that first year, and I attended a turning point with Marshall Silver, and it really was a turning point. And, since that time, you and I have worked together lots, and I've personally grown, and I just love the expansion and this ever-growing world that we live in.
Now, something really great about Nancy is the organization that she created. And I talk to a lot of people about what they want to do, and they want to create something that, quite frankly, and we'll find out more about it, similar to what Nancy's done. And it's very admirable, and yet not everyone has done it. And I think that the path, what some people think the path is, to get there and to create that is one thing, and yet every time I've ever talked to successful people, they tell me a different story. There's that post I see a lot on Facebook that says, they think the road to success is from, a straight line here, but the road to success looks more like exactly, and so
there's a few step backs, and then a few steps forward. That's just part of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of, it goes all over the place. So tell them about your particular organization and what's it look like a little bit today, and then we'll backtrack to what maybe someone else could do or how you did it and those sort of things.
All right, so, and I love this conversation, so this is really fun, and I'd like to talk about my organization from a different perspective, so that our viewers can see how what we've done can relate to them and what they want to grow. So the organization is called Women's Prosperity Network, and it's a community where we get together both online and offline and do masterminding. And, it's fascinating. I'm reading a book right now called Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Have you read that?
I haven't read the book. I saw him do a little bit on a video.
Yeah, he was on TED. He gave a TED talk.
Yeah, I saw the TED talk, and that was great.
Yeah, and really, I tell you that I believe the reason that Women's Prosperity Network has been so successful and gained momentum is because of our why. And I come back to this to share with everybody who's watching, because whatever it is that you do, the what and the how doesn't make as much of a difference as the why you do what you do, because that's what people connect with. And the reason that I've got a great following and I've built a tribe, everybody talks about you got to build your tribe, right? The reason that we've stood the test of time, where lots of people try to start organizations or networking groups or, something that builds on a monthly basis or people get together. The reason that I know we've stood the test of time is we've stayed true to our why, which is about bringing people together to have empowering conversations, to tap into the brilliance that lies inside of them. We're about bringing out what's inside of you rather than, I just have to tell you all these things you don't know. We're about, I know you're amazing. I want you to share it with me. I want you to share it with the world. And that's what people are attracted to. Everybody who comes into our space is encouraged. Tell me your thoughts. We're not, nobody's going to beat you down or say, that's a dumb idea. It's about building each other up. And that, whatever your business is, what's your why behind how it adds value to people's lives?
I think, just to put that in kind of contrast, where I think some people make the mistake is they might hear something like what you just said, and they go, oh yeah, that's it. Yeah. I want to build a community like that and do that. Now, what they end up actually doing is they end up building a seminar company, more of a guruship model, where they want to teach all these people to do these things.
Yes.
And they say, oh yeah, I want to teach, have all these people be great. But all of a sudden it's their face, here's my teaching. Whereas your feel is not necessarily, a Nancy thing. It's everyone's kind of built up thing. It really is true. The business model is true to your why. Whereas I think that's it. That's the identification.
Interesting.
Your business model matches your why. Other people, they have the same why, but their business model doesn't match that in the way that they conduct their events and stuff. And so that's a pretty cool distinction. And
that was awesome. And I just want to share with you that it makes me happy that that's how you see it from the outside, because that is my intention. Now, all that being said, I love to be in front of the camera. I love to be on stage. Yes. But me loving that doesn't take away from you being on stage, or one of my members doing something, or another teacher coming in. We're all amazing. Yeah.
So you're willing to share that light. Actually, not just share the light, actually shine the light on others as well as yourself. Get your goodies, in all that. And when you do that, then everyone looks to you too. That's just kind of a natural thing of being a leader there. But you don't need to necessarily put it out there. And so, anyways, really great job at accomplishing that. And so, what how did it start? Let's get some behind the scenes stuff. What's the reality? What's the reality of creating a great movement in the organization?
The reality is it's a lot of work.
It's staying strong to that message, and as much as it can get shaken, you still stick with it, right?
And I tell you, AJ, I've been tested time and time again, and I'm sure that my tests are not done. And I think that's just part of the journey. And I think, again, that's the reason it's so important to know your why, to know your purpose, because when all the other stuff comes in to try to knock you down, it's that faith and knowingness that what you're doing is right, that allows you to continue and move on. So going back in time, I never intended to start a women's organization. It wasn't like my burning desire. I always want to do this. I had no intention of doing that. It really happened quite by accident. I was at an event where I was doing real estate seminars at the time, and I was teaching foreclosure investors how to buy and sell properties, and that was fun. I had was enjoying it. I went to a seminar with our friend Tony Martinez, was teaching it. Yep. And he stood there and he said, how come there's not more women in this room wanting to be speakers, wanting to be seminar leaders? That's one of the highest paid professions. And women, we need you to get out there and make a difference. We need more women leaders. We need more women speakers. And I don't know what happened, but in the pit of my belly, something woke up, and I jumped out of my chair and I was like, yeah, that's me. I'll do that. And at the time, my intention was to be one of the, like a Barbara Corcoran, one of the leading women on real estate. And there was a woman at that event, Gigi. You remember Gigi? Gigi approached me, and she had a vision of starting a women's seminar company. So we got together and we started masterminding, and it was her and two other women that we had this vision. It was actually Gigi's original vision to create something like this. And for whatever reason, that model didn't work out. So after losing a quite substantial amount of money that I had invested in setting up the events and traveling and all this other stuff, I was flying home on the plane from LA, November 30th, 2007, feeling dejected, feeling like a failure, feeling like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I already have all this money in here. This isn't working. I was really taking the red eye home in a state of despair, not knowing what I should do next. And as I was flying home, I remembered this woman whose name is Kathy Dudek that I met here in Florida, and I shared the vision of WPN, and I shared what we wanted to create for women to come together. And I heard Kathy in my head saying, Nancy, we need this. And I thought of the other women who I had connected with locally who said, we need this. They were attached to the passion They weren't. It wasn't about the big seminars. They were attached to the why and the vision. And I went and I talked to my two sisters, Trish and Susan, and they said, let's do this. Let's start with a grassroots,
Grassroots,
building it here, and then growing organically. And that's what we did. And what's interesting today is Kathy Dudek, this woman who really gave me that fuel to keep going. She passed away this year. And a lot of my continued vision and drive comes from serving this woman who had a similar vision, who's passed on at a very early age. She's, a matter of fact, she's the woman who gave me the book, Start With Why.
Oh.
So was that.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah. So if whatever business you're doing, here's what I really want to share, how this can apply to any business. Whatever it is that you're building, you got to start with a loyal following. So if you're writing a book, don't wait to get the whole book written before you start building a following. Get out there, start blogging about the topic, start getting on Facebook, on social media, get on LinkedIn. Let people know who you are and what your expertise is, what your passion is, and engage them in conversation. So the minute your book is ready, they want to buy it.
Yeah, I've always said the worst thing to do is spend 2 years writing a book only to find out nobody likes it, right? And so before writing it, just talk about it chapter at a time or brainstorm with people live. Then you can find out whether or not they like it or not. As you write, you'll come up with a better book, and you have a following. I mean, if you're a publisher, you got one author who has a book, but another person has a book and a couple thousand people behind them. I'm more interested in the person with a couple thousand people behind them.
Yeah, and the whole publishing industry has turned around.
Oh, yeah, completely.
It's not like it was before. And to get signed with a publisher, you actually need to have that platform built before they'll even take you on.
Yeah. So, what I hear from you, and that is one of the things I see people kind of stumbling block is really how they started, and usually... what's kind of funny is usually when I meet people is after they've already started and they fell, because I say, look, you could really use my help, and it's like, oh no, I could do it myself, and then all of a sudden they fall down and it's like, okay, I need some help here, and I love the idea of you went grassroots. I always say, do it small, test and measure, and then do it big. Until I mean, this last year I've been in a kind of a reinvention place, and I've been doing some small testing, working out my brand. And so you started at that grassroots, you grew it, and so they get an idea. How big is your organization now, or what were some of the bigger events that you've done? How successful have they been?
Well, we have, I believe we're up to about 800 official members. We have thousands and thousands of followers on our Facebook page, on our email lists. And every year we do an event. It's called the Prosperity Unconference, because we like to do things unconventionally and differently. And we're coming up. This will be our 6th year doing the conference, and it'll be in October in West Palm Beach. And our first year out, we had Laurel Langmeyer. And then, some local, gurus in the industry. And then 2 years ago, Jack Canfield was our main keynote speaker. He was awesome. And then last year we had Stedman Graham. And it's a phenomenal event. And again, it's all about bringing the community together. And I see lots of great events happening out there. And it's always about what's in it for the other person and how can their lives be enhanced. And I got to tell you, the thing that's really ringing true for me this year, as I'm observing, we're in our 5th year, going into our 6th year for WPN. What I'm really observing as we've grown, and I don't get to know all the members. We have chapter leaders throughout Florida and a couple up north. I don't get to meet everybody anymore. So the foundation and the strength of the community is their relationships with each other. And the mutual respect and admiration and that desire to really help each other. And I do believe, and people have shared this with me, that that does come from the top down. So the relationship between me and my sisters is very strong. We actually like each other. Same mother and father, by the way. We like each other. We work together. We play together. And that sense of family really trickles all the way down. And I mention it not to pat myself on the back or anything. Whatever it is that you're doing, you are the leader. You are the one that people are going to, resonate with your message or not. Who you show up as in authenticity, integrity, and consistency is what your followers, your clients are counting on you for. So that's what our brand, illustrates, is this sense of community and family. What does your brand illustrate? AJ, you are a leader. You're at the top of your game. Integrity, authenticity always come through for me. Really seeing understanding yourself. That's something that I've learned for you from over the years and the work we've done together. Understanding me so that I can show up in the world and be of service in a greater way. That's what I learned through you.
Mm-hmm. What? So for someone who says, "Wow, I wish I was surrounded by more people and stuff like that," I've always said you got two strategies. Either you find a community to go belong to, and if you're in the the Florida area, or anywhere close to it, that's that you can travel to. Go check out Nancy and everything. Go join a community. But if you're living someplace else and there's not one that you can find that you resonate with, then go start a community. What kind of strategies would you say or insight about starting and building a community?
We're so lucky today because we have so many online resources to find like-minded people. So go to Facebook and search in the group section. Put in the search bar what it is that you're looking for. Is it knitting? Is it cooking? Is it to talk about philosophy? Is it talk about music or art? You can just put that category in on Facebook and you'll find it. You can also do that on Meetup. Start going to places where the types of people that you're looking for are hanging out. Like Kathy Didak, that woman I talked about, I met her at American Business Women's Association dinner. WPN is nothing like those types of organizations. We're a different community. And check out what's similar and see where the missing is. That's one of the things that we did. We looked at all the other women's organizations out there, plenty of networking, plenty, let's have tea or coffee together, mind, body. Where was the missing? So we became the missing link. That was the blend of personal development and business development with a continuing community of support. Because we all know you go to a seminar and you get that good feeling and then you get the Monday morning that hits too. So if you want to start a community or some type of organization, just go out and try to find some people and start small, and marketing is a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. So again, that's really great. I picture it as I already have members. They just don't know it yet, and they're all over the place.
I love it.
And I might find a couple here, find a couple there, but just meeting them is one part of it. And I think that's where a lot of people stop. It's like, I want to meet new friends. They go out, they meet the friends, and yet what you've done is you've given them another reason to come together as a group.
Yes.
Whether it's just being in a more like-minded location, something that giving them both not just great friendships, but some education and some support and some networks. So I would say, go start your own group, start your own meetup group. Even if it ends up just being 5 people that meet on a regular basis, continue that. I remember. I'll tell you, I've heard this story many times. Oh yeah, we're going to start this thing and we're going to have 400 people there. And I've seen people, promote that and they end up with like 50 people. And you know what they do with 50 people? They cancel the event. And I'm like, are you kidding me? It's like, do you know how much effort it takes to put 50 people into the room and you canceled it because you thought it was too small? No, 50 is great. Start with that. You can always grow big. I say start small and be good with that. Get that win and grow big. You know.
Well, and it's you got to start somewhere. So again, being realistic when you're first coming out of the box. So expecting 400 people on a first event, you know, you really got to have some powerful marketing in play to create something like that.
That's expensive.
Yeah. And yeah, that's, you know, all that money that I said,
Yeah.
that's part of what it went to, is we planned this big event that just didn't work out. We didn't have the right marketing behind it.
Yeah. Yes. So starting up your own community, you know, kind of bring them together. Know your why is you know, another big key to that. And I think we also identified, you know, making sure your business model matches that why, you know, reflects that in everything that you do. Another great thing I love what you said was the relationships. Who you are as a person is going to trickle down into your community and what that means, you know. And for some people, that's really where they need to start. They need to step back, maybe take some personal development, you know, seminars and such. Because if you have I'm thinking of this one, you know, particular person I know, and he has very short relationships, you know, very short relationships, no long-term relationships and stuff like that. And therefore his business is very short-term and not very long-term people. I mean, I've known you 10 years and we're talking here, and actually, if, you know, the people who've been following me, like, one of the trends is everyone that I've talked to, I've known like a really long time. You know?
That's because of who you are.
Yeah.
I mean, you are consistent, you are authentic, and you show up. And here's the other thing, you know, we all take hits in life. Stuff happens.
Yeah.
It's how you respond and react to what shows up that really is the test of your character. And here's the other thing I'll share. When we started Women's Prosperity Network, we have expansion now. So if there's somebody out there who'd like to know more how maybe to start a chapter, just go ahead and send an email to me, Nancy at nancymatthews.com, because
I'll write the links down below.
Okay, perfect. So send me an email, because we're in an expansion phase, and we also bring the community together online through monthly masterminds over the phone. And when I saw the vision for this with the expansion and leading other women and creating chapter leaders and all of that, I started studying leadership. So I've worked with John Maxwell, who's a leadership expert. I've taken his program. I'm a certified John Maxwell trainer. I continue to read these things. I read books like Start With Why. So if you want to build something big, if you have a big vision, you have to be strong. You have to be confident, but not cocky. You have to have ego, which doesn't mean that you're edging other people out. Ego means I believe in myself, and you trust your intuition. Being connected to intuition and that knowing is so important. And it can only be attained, which you know, by going inside, by really honoring the gifts and talents that you spend time with you, growing you, and being true to your vision and your why, and you're destined for success with that recipe. Beautifully
said. Now, for all those out there, can you see why there's a community being built around that? You know, I mean, it's wonderful. So nancymatthews.com is the best place for someone to find out more about WPNU and that.
Yeah, nancymatthews.com is my personal brand, and there is a link there for WPN, but they can also go to WPNglobal.com.
Fantastic. Hey, thank you, Nancy, very much.
Jay.
And for everyone out there, go out and create, go find your heart, identify that, and go create a community. And between your heart and your community, you'll make a big impact and change in the world for a lot of people around you. So anyways, we'll see you next round. Do us a favor, go out and win. Thank you very much, Nancy. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye, AJ. Thanks.
All right, bye.